one way or another, and for those who are just riding out another storm. But Lord, all of us look to you. We look to the God of strength and peace and hope and provision. So be with us this morning as we celebrate together, as we grieve together, as we stand together in your name. Amen. So the idea of this morning is to just be a short encouragement to each other. I completely changed the talk I was going to do because I thought, and I'll save that up because we're still in Ephesians, but it takes us a while to get around to these things when we've got all these interruptions, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to roll with it. So quiz fingers ready, texting fingers ready, because just as a bit of a tester, I'm going to give you quiz question 1. Now you need to text your answer, but not just your answer, the question number and your name, because Alyssa might not have it saved in her phone. She is sitting right here just off screen with her phone, with she's got a clipboard, she's got a pen, she's noting everything down here. So you need to text her with your answers. There are 7 questions throughout this morning. The first one is this. Eltham's population is around 18,000. What is the median age of Elthamites? So average is not the same as median, but for the purposes of the argument, what's the average age of people in Eltham? So take a guess, take a punt, be involved. We have a song coming up, and after that we will say who won prize number 1. So the medium age of people in Eltham. You are texting that to 0450 868 862. It's on the bottom of the screen. You're texting the number of the question, your answer, and your name. So when I went back in the archives to look for a song for this morning, one that's encouraging, one that brings joy, what better can you have than the jumpers that Dave and Kate wear at random times throughout the year that just say joy? Here it is. Please enjoy Dave and Kate on repeat.
Everyone, this is Come As You Are by David Crowder. I think everyone knows this. Got the itchy jumpers on.
Very itchy jumper. is joy for the morning. O sinner, be still. Earth has no sorrow that heaven can heal. Earth has no sorrow that heaven can't heal. So lay down your burdens, lay down your shame. All who are broken, lift up your face. Oh, wanderer, come home. You're not too far. So lay down your hurt, lay down your heart, come as you are. Come as you are. Come as you are. Come as you are.
Thank you, Griffiths. Always good to see a bad jumper. I mean, you know, a great jumper, but worn well. We thank you so much for that. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, I've got to say. Now, it was pointed out, I should have said this right from the get-go, but no Googling. Come on, people. But 3 families at least got it right. I'll say the 3 families and then I'll say who got it first. So, how do you say them? I just tried to say it. Mark and Chantel got it correct. Got it correct. And the Mynards got it correct. And the Mynards were first. They're first to everything, so there's no surprise that they would be first to that. So well done to the Mynards. From now on, do your answers as... Oh, the answer is 42. Alyssa should be here every week. The answer to the question, the median age is 42. Isn't the answer 42 to one of those old sci-fi... forget it, I'm not going to go there. All right, I am going to give you 2 quick announcements and then we're going to do questions 2 through to 4. So, tree planting. We have come up with a date, or good old Kev has come up with a date, Saturday the 7th of August. So there's a few families who have already signed up, but you are welcome to jump on board. There'll be more information about that, but if you need any more details, you can talk to Kevin or myself. Also, Christmas in July, Saturday the 24th of July, pending any lockdowns and such, 7 p.m. at the Rose House. So that's going to be really, really good. And there'll be bad Christmas jumpers there too, I'm sure. All right, questions 2 through 4. You might want to write these down because I'm going to say them all at the same time. Question 2. Name one of the Colin Buchanan songs we've heard or sung for Kids Church. Doesn't necessarily have to have been this year. Could have been online, could have been in person. Name one of the Colin Buchanan songs we've heard or sung for Kids Church. I reckon Billy and Jamie will be all over that. Question 3. Name a youth event that has happened this year or one that is coming up. So text that one through as question 3. And question 4, what is the name of the craft group that runs on Thursdays at Little Angel's shop in Montmorency? I'm not going to repeat them. I reckon you're all over it. Start texting through. It's been nice to see a lot of people texting. Alyssa is especially enjoying the nice messages. Thanks, Jack and Eb. And so now, while you get your texting fingers ready, we have 2 little segments coming up. When I asked people for jokes, we only got 1 submission, but we only needed 1 submission because Mosh was all over it and has done a series of excellent and terrible dad jokes. But before we see that, we're going to see a repeat of a Kids Church song. This may help you with one of your questions, who knows? And that's from Rosie, so enjoy.
God's alive. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Blast off! 10, 9, 8, God is great. 7, 6, 5, God's alive. 4, 3, 2, 1, He's the King of everyone. God's the mighty, mighty Lord of all. Come on now. We go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Blast
Hey Southern, went to the doctor the other day, told me I'm going deaf. That was hard for me to hear. Actually, I still haven't heard from him. It's funny who you see at the doctors, isn't it? There's a guy who's lost his left arm and his left leg. He's all right now. Another guy there, and he fell and hit his head on his drum kit. Just had a mild percussion. When I was walking past out of the doctors, saw the guy at the bank and he was at the ATM. He was standing on one foot. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, just checking my balance." Did you know that dogs can't operate MRI machines, but cats can? The other day, Nicole asked me to pass her the lip balm. I accidentally passed her super glue. She's still not talking to me. Actually, the other day, she was really mad at me that I ruined her birthday. I said, "I didn't even know it was your birthday." I've been doing a big clean up around the place and I've got a whole heap of old batteries I'm giving away free of charge. Anyway, that's enough. But if you need an ark built, I know a guy.
Marsh, that was awesome. Thank you so much. And we could all watch Rosie pretty much all day do those Colin Buchanan songs. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Now, there may or may not have been a family who managed to get all three answers correct straight up. And I said to Alyssa, well, let's split it up. And her words were, it's a slippery slope. So let's join that slippery slope now and say straight up that the Lordings got them all right and got them in first, but we're giving them question 4 as the prize. So what's the name of the craft group run on Thursdays at Little Angels? That is Creativity for a Cause. Ding, 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 the Lordings got that. They also got the others, but as a very close second, we're going to give the Colin Buchanan song answer to, in Alyssa's words, Harriet and the Zavadils, because while a lot of people said 10, 9, 8, God is great, that seemed a little... remember the Lord. They said, practice being godly, and you may or may not remember that last year in lockdown, they did 2 different versions of practice being godly, and if that doesn't deserve a prize, I don't know what does. So they get question 2. Question 3, name a youth event that has happened this year. We're giving that one to Rosie. Well done. And she mentioned the Christmas in July coming up on July 24th. All right, I am going to give you the last 3 questions soon, but what I want to do first is give you the short version of a little chat. So I've got a whole talk from Ephesians 5 ready to go, just like Alex had a whole talk ready for the start of Ephesians 5 last week. But things being as they are, we're just rolling with what we're rolling with. So to start with, I want to talk to you about the game Trouble. Does anyone remember the game Trouble? I think Raf's going to pop up a picture of the game just to remind you. The game is basically a board game with a bubble in the middle, and you pop it and the dice move around and you get a score. So what you have to do is get your little plastic beads from where you are right back around the board and into the right slots. Now, it's a really, really frustrating game if you get one of your pieces all the way around to nearly back to where you were from the starting spot, and then some competitor, to use a nice word, someone comes along and lands on you. What ends up happening? Does anyone remember the rules of trouble? If someone lands on you, you have to go all the way back to the start. Now, I've mentioned this to a few of you this week because that's how things feel right at the minute. You just get some traction going, you just start opening things up, you just start getting your business back on track, you just start getting those initiatives at work or at school underway, and then COVID lands on you again and it all feels like it's going back to the start. So that's kind of the context we're in, and that's the discouraging thing for many of us, the environment that we find ourselves in. So this morning what I thought I'd do is read out a couple of verses that will be encouraging for us, and also give you a quick story. It's only going to take a few minutes, but I just wanted us to acknowledge where we're at and to draw on God's strength to be dealing with whatever it is we're dealing with. And for some of us, that is a simple case of frustration. Not that frustration is necessarily simple, it's sometimes complex, but for some of us it goes a lot deeper than that and can be a lot more difficult. And so literally we find ourselves in trouble. So wherever you are this morning, I hope that some of these verses and this story can be encouraging for you. So I'm going to start by reading out Psalm 46, and it goes like this. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her, she will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar, kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice, the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. He says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress." And another little verse that I really liked this morning was from Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. And I was thinking about some moments in this book. I haven't reread it, but I was pondering it this morning. I just ordered it online because I couldn't find it on my bookshelf. But if you haven't read The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom, and I know I've mentioned this before because it is an amazing book, but I wanted to read one small section out of it, and I won't be going anywhere too difficult this morning. I know we've got kids listening. But just to give you just the briefest backstory, Corrie and her sister Betsy, in this moment in the book, are in their second concentration camp. So we're talking Second World War, we're talking extreme persecution of not only Jewish people and annihilation of Jewish people, but also people who hid Jewish people, and that was Corrie and her sister. So they found themselves in a very, very difficult situation in Ravensbrück. It's a concentration camp. I won't explain their context, but it is, needless to say, awful. They managed to sneak into this latest place they were staying a Bible and a liquid vitamin bottle. And that's a story in itself as to how they got those things in there. But she says this, another strange thing was happening. The vitamin bottle was continuing to produce drops. It scarcely seemed possible, so small a bottle, so many doses a day. Now, in addition to Betsy, a dozen others in our room were taking it. So they brought in this little vitamin bottle liquid, and it had a dropper on it. But because her sister was so giving, it wasn't just for them. They would share it around. My instinct was always to hoard it. Betsy was growing so very weak. But others were ill as well. It was hard to say no to eyes that burned with fever, hands that shook with chill. I tried to save it for the very weakest, but even these soon numbered 15, 20, 25. And still, every time I tilted the bottle, a drop appeared at the tip of the glass stopper. It just couldn't be. I held it up to the light, trying to see how much was left, but the dark brown glass was too thick to see through. There was a woman in the Bible, Betsy said, whose oil jar was never empty. She turned to it in the book of Kings, the story of the poor widow at Zarephath who gave Elijah a room in her home. And the story is of the oil and the flour that doesn't run out. Well, says Corey, but wonderful things happened all through the Bible. It was one thing to believe that such things were possible thousands of years ago, another to have it happen now, to us, this very day. And yet it happened, this day and the next, until an awed little group of spectators stood around watching the drops fall onto the daily rations of bread. Many nights I lay awake in the shower of strawed dust from the mattress above, trying to fathom the marvel of supply lavished upon me. Maybe, I whispered to Betsy, only a molecule or two really gets through that little pinhole, and in the air it expands. I heard her soft laughter in the dark. Don't try too hard to explain it, Corey. Just accept it as a surprise from a Father who loves you. So wherever we find ourselves this morning, whether like Corey, but obviously hers was so extreme, whether life circumstances around you are extremely difficult, it's important to look for that little drop of something amazing that the Father gives us. In that story, we don't see all the surrounding circumstances improving, but this one thing, this one little thing, is what was providing hope in their very, very dark place. And so I would encourage us to be looking for those little drops that God provides us, those little miracles, those little things that we just can't really explain any other way. But not only that, but to be providing that for other people as well, to be looking for those places that we can pray, where we can give, where we can support and encourage other people, and be that little dropper for them. So let's be thinking about those things as we play our game of trouble, as we feel like we constantly have to go back to the start, or if our circumstances are even more difficult than that. Let's look for those little gifts that a Father who loves us provides for us. And with that, I am going to give us our last three questions, and we'll have another song and then come back for the answers as we finish. So, question 5, get your texting fingers ready. Question 5, long, long ago, Southern met in a different place than the Senior Citizens Hall. Where did we meet? We will be prioritising those who weren't actually there when we met, because that makes the question that much harder for you. That was question 5. Question 6. How many times is the word Christian used in the Bible? And last one, question 7. Name one of the themes or books of the Bible we've looked at during our sermon series this year. That's question 5, 6 and 7. Now we have a song that we only heard, I think it was during our last lockdown, but I absolutely fell in love with it. And because I was choosing the songs, I chose this one. thank you, Mynards, for a repeat of a brilliant, beautiful song. Sorry, I'm having a laugh here because Raf's shaking his head at me. I don't look at the camera quick enough. Now he's mumbling about me, but that's okay. We are ready to finish. And do you know, one of these didn't get an answer. And that's okay, because that means I only need to provide 6 prizes next week. And those prizes are going to be so cool. Do I know what they are yet? No, I do not. But this way I can actually customise them for the people who are receiving them. Question 5, long, long ago, Southern met at a different place to the Senior Citizens Hall. Where was it? Eltham North Reserve, or Eltham North Hall, I think we called it. Winner, drum roll, Darren, well done. How many times is the word Christian used in the Bible? Did anyone answer? Nobody answered. 3 times. Acts 11:26, Acts 26:28, and 1 Peter 4:16. I would have thought more, but no. Question 7, name one of the themes or books of the Bible we've looked at during our sermon series this year. I didn't get the answer, Alyssa. What was their answer? Oh, Kaz and Rich. Well done. They said Ephesians, which I dropped clues for these things all through this morning, but well done, Kaz and Rich, for getting that one correct. I hope that today is encouraging for you. I hope that whether you find yourself in trouble or whether you find yourself resting in these moments where we are locked down within our 5Ks, whatever circumstances you find yourself in, I hope you are able to look for those little droppers of God's provision and to be those for other people. So be encouraged, and hopefully we will be back together next week. And if not, we will be back together here in Doreen. So looking forward to seeing you all at some point, and have a really good week. See you later.